The ceremonial blade hovered inches from Marcus Cole's throat, the obsidian edge glinting under the crystal light of the hall. 300 Velathari nobles watched in complete silence, their silver-scaled faces unreadable. High Commander Sir held the blade steady, expecting Marcus to flinch. He did not. Marcus' eyes remained fixed on the empty throne at the far end of the hall. He had already survived worse than death. 6 years defending Kepler-7. The Dominion invasion. The slow, agonizing fire that consumed his wife and his colony. He had drifted in a damaged escape pod for 3 months before a Velathari patrol found him. Death no longer frightened him. "You dare petition for sanctuary?" Sir hissed, leaning close, the blade grazing Marcus' throat. "With respect, Commander," Marcus said quietly, "we held Kepler-7 for 6 years against the Dominion. We only lost it because no one answered our distress calls." A murmur spread through the assembly. Sir's grip tightened. Insolence. The blade sliced a thin line of blood along Marcus' thigh. He didn't move. He wouldn't give them the satisfaction. Then the voice came, cutting through the hall like a cold wind. Every Velathari dropped to a knee. Every noble except Marcus. He remained standing, too exhausted to care about protocol. Queen Velithra stepped from a hidden side passage, moving like a predator, pale blue skin shimmering under the crystal light. Her robes trailed behind her like liquid shadow. 7 feet tall, angular, sharp features, almost human but impossibly perfect. She stopped 3 paces from Marcus and studied him. "You are bleeding on my floor, human," she said. "Apologies, Your Majesty. I did not bring the blade." Marcus lifted his chin. Something flickered across her face, surprise, perhaps, or irritation. "You do not kneel. I don't know how your people kneel. I'd rather stand and show respect than kneel in ignorance." Silence stretched. Then the Queen turned her attention to Sir. "Rise, Commander. Explain why you have drawn blood in my hall without my permission." The human demanded sanctuary, my Queen. He has nothing to offer. No fleet, no resources, no connections. He is worthless, Sir spat. "I didn't demand," Marcus said quietly. "I asked. There's a difference." "And what would you offer, human? What do you bring for sanctuary?" Velithra's voice was calm, almost curious. Marcus considered. He had nothing. His ship was scrap, his people scattered, his wife ash. His home world had no interest in the colonies. But he could work. He was an engineer. "I can fix things," he said finally. The nobles laughed. Low, cruel laughter. Sir bared his teeth. "We have machines for labor. We have engineers born to castes higher than your entire species." "Then I have nothing," Marcus admitted. "But I am asking anyway." The Queen raised a hand, and the laughter stopped. "Leave us," she commanded. Protocol required protest, but Sir obeyed, eyes wide with disbelief. When the hall emptied, Velithra circled him slowly. "You are not afraid," she said. "No. I've lost everything. Fear requires something left to lose." She studied him closely, stopping just short of touching. "My advisors will demand your execution for this insolence." "I will apologize for real offenses," Marcus said. "But I will not apologize for existing." Velithra was silent for a long moment. "I am coming to your quarters tonight," she whispered. Marcus froze. "We will speak privately. Tell no one. If you do, I will deny it, and you will be executed for slander." "Why?" "You are the first person in 11 years to stand in my presence and speak without calculating advantage." She turned and left, robes sweeping across the bloodstained floor. The evening stretched. Marcus waited in his quarters, unsure whether to expect interrogation, assassination, or something stranger. When the third moon rose, a section of the wall slid open silently. Velithra stepped through, wearing simple robes. Smaller, real, human-like. "You're actually here," Marcus said. "I considered the possibility you might try to escape," she admitted. A hint of a smile touched her lips. They sat in silence, watching the crystalline garden. Then she asked, gently, "How did your wife die?" He told her everything, The Dominion orbital bombardment, the failed evacuation, the silence before the engines cut. "Do you blame yourself?" she asked. "Every day," he said simply. Velithra nodded, recounting her own losses, her consort, the plague, the isolation of her people. For 11 years, she had been cursed in the eyes of her nobles, untouched, unheard, unseen. Until Marcus. A human with nothing to gain, standing unflinching, speaking truth. "You understand tired," she said quietly. "And yet you act anyway." "I do it because it's right," Marcus admitted. "And because you talk to me like a person, not furniture." Recognition flickered in her eyes. Not warmth, exactly, but something adjacent. "You are a strange creature, Marcus Cole," she said. "I've been told," he smiled faintly. Her hand brushed his, feather light, almost imperceptible, but profound in a culture where touch carried curse and fortune alike. "Begin the repairs," she said. "I will ensure you have access." She walked away, leaving him with the echo of her touch and the sound of singing crystals. The weeks blurred together. Marcus worked double shifts, daylight duties in the engineering cast, secret repairs at night. He documented everything, degraded components, falsified logs, chain of authority leading back to Sir. Velithra visited irregularly, unpredictably, speaking softly, letting silences stretch between them. 3 things collided one night. Sir's agents discovered the repairs, the council convened an emergency session, and the secondary power grid failed. Marcus was arrested and dragged before the council in chains. Sir accused him of espionage and assassination attempts, and the Queen of complicity. But Marcus' documentation was thorough. Velithra rose from her throne. "I have reviewed the records. It is a pattern of deliberate sabotage, beginning 3 months after my consort's death. Sir planned my death." Sir faltered. "Your Majesty." "I believe evidence, Commander. I believe testimony. I believe he has more integrity in a single act than my entire court has in 11 years. Sir was seized. Marcus' chains fell away. Velithra's hand touched his face in full view of the nobles. A quiet rebellion of protocol, an act of human-scale courage witnessed by an empire. Marcus whispered, "This will cause problems." "Yes," she admitted. "But I see a beginning. I see possibility. I see someone I would like to know better. Not as a servant or tool, but someone to stand beside me." In the chaos of political upheaval, the Queen and the human simply stood together, fragile, uncertain, and unbroken. The next day, the palace buzzed with whispers. Sir's fall from grace had left a vacuum of power, and many nobles sought to capitalize. Marcus was reassigned to the engineering cast officially, but now with full access. He moved through the palace corridors silently, repairing, documenting, observing. Velithra remained distant in public, her composure flawless, but her eyes often sought Marcus across rooms. He felt her gaze like a tether, guiding him, challenging him. It was during a routine inspection of the palace's eastern energy grid that Marcus discovered the first hint of further sabotage, an anomaly too subtle for normal scans. Someone wanted the Queen dead, and Sir had allies. He sought Velithra in the hidden garden. "There's more," he said. Sir wasn't acting alone. He left a network of influence, hidden in the oversight committees. She nodded. "I suspected. But now we have leverage. We can expose them, control them, or use them against each other." Together, they devised a plan. Marcus would continue repairs publicly, masking their investigation as standard work. Velithra would manipulate the council, subtly isolating potential conspirators. Each step was a careful dance of deception, engineering, and psychology. Weeks passed. Marcus worked nights on systems that were failing intentionally. Velithra walked through the palace corridors as if the world was normal, but her mind raced, calculating every move. Slowly, their conversations shifted from logistics to personal thoughts, strategies, and philosophies. Marcus shared human approaches to problem-solving. Velithra shared Velithari political intricacies. One night, during an unauthorized inspection of the main reactor, an explosion shook the palace. Marcus' quick thinking prevented a catastrophe. Velithra arrived, calmly assessing damage and loss. "You are reckless," she said. "And brilliant. A dangerous combination." "I could say the same," Marcus replied. The explosion was traced to a concealed fault, deliberate. Now, they had undeniable proof. Someone was orchestrating attempts on her life. They presented the evidence to the council. One by one, conspirators were exposed, stripped of rank, or confined. Velithra's position strengthened. Marcus' reputation transformed. He was no longer a human laborer but a trusted strategist and engineer, essential to the Queen's survival. Yet, amidst political victories, their connection deepened. They shared quiet conversations in the garden, discussing losses, hopes, and dreams. Velithra admitted she had not known companionship for 11 years. Marcus shared grief for his lost wife and colony. They did not need to touch, but the proximity was electric, comforting, terrifying. Finally, the council convened to formalize Velithra's decisions. Marcus stood at her side, not as a servant, not as a tool, but as an ally. The Queen spoke, her voice resonating. "This human has proven integrity, courage, and loyalty beyond measure. I elevate him, not by decree, but by merit. Let it be known that human ingenuity and heart are recognized among the Velithari." The hall erupted in astonishment, murmurs, and outrage. Marcus remained calm. He did not kneel, he did not claim glory. He simply stood beside the Queen who had once walked among singing crystals, sharing loneliness with him. Later, in the quiet of the garden, Velithra approached. "Do you know why I trusted you?" "I think, because I had nothing to offer," Marcus said. "No," she said. "Because you were willing to stand and act when everyone else faltered. You reminded me what it means to be human, and what it means to be alive." Marcus smiled faintly. "And you reminded me what it means to survive not just for oneself, but for others." They did not declare love. There were no fairy tales in courtly politics. There were only beginnings, fragile alliances, and the shared understanding of what it meant to risk everything for truth, courage, and connection. As the twin moons rose, casting blue light across crystalline gardens, the Queen and the human stood together, not touching, not declaring, simply present. The Velithari Empire was safer, the conspiracies revealed, and the future uncertain. But for the first time in years, both of them felt hope. Marcus thought of loss, survival, and the unexpected kinship he had found. Velithra considered the isolation she had endured and the strange courage of a human who refused to bow. The night was quiet, but electric with possibility. Together, they faced a universe that had tried to break them. Together, they would endure, adapt, and, perhaps, thrive. And so began a story not of fairy tales, but of resilience, courage, and the fragile human heart standing beside an immortal queen.